So the first question that we were asked were, why are the abstinences not appearing with rūpāvacara or arūpāvacara cittas, but they appear with a lokuttara citta, even though the lokuttara citta, the magga or phala, can be either first, second, third, fourth, or fifth jhāna. So why this difference? Where the abstinences are not found in the rūpāvacara or arūpāvacara, but are found in lokuttara citta. So what are abstinences? Abstinences are virati. Virati are samma vāca, right speech, samma kammanto, right action, and samma ājivo, right livelihood. Now, when it comes to a kāmāvācara citta, these three they never arise together. So at any given point, you get only one of these arising. For example, if someone is speaking and that person is actively making sure that he is speaking the truth, that is an instance where that person is having samma vāca as one of his mental factors. Now, when he is, consciously abstaining from wrong speech, at that same time, you won't find samma kammanto and samma ājivo occurring at the same time. So only one of these can occur at any given time when it comes to the sense sphere consciousness. But what about the rūpāvacara and arūpāvacara jhāna? These abstinences, virati, are prerequisites. You have to abstain from wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihoods as a foundation. So you abstain from those wrong actions, and then you sit down, you meditate, and then you develop the jhanas. But these jhana themselves, now let's say, we'll take an example. Let's take a rūpāvacara jhana. Let's take a paṭavī kasina rūpāvacara jhāna. So a paṭavī kasina rūpāvacara jhāna, the object is the paṭavī kasina, the earth kasina. So when the mind is focusing on that particular kasina, is that individual abstaining, actively abstaining from right speech, actively abstaining from, wrong speech, actively abstaining from wrong action or wrong livelihood? No. At that particular moment, that citta, that consciousness is focusing on the kasina, the paṭavī kasina. So there is no relevance to this virati. There is no possibility that this virati can be occurring with that kind of consciousness. So the foundation is abstaining from all the wrong actions, the wrong speech, wrong livelihood. And then once that foundation is laid, only you can develop the jhanas. But the jhana citta themselves do not generate or do not have any of these abstinences occurring as sahajata, mental factors that occur together with them. Then what about the lokuttara citta? How come we are seeing the virati, abstinences occurring with the lokuttara citta? Does it mean that you don't need that baseline foundation of sila, virtue? You do need the foundation. But here, when it comes to the lokuttara citta, these three virati, samma vāca, samma kammanta, and samma ājiva, they have a different function. They are part of the Noble Eightfold Path. And that is the magga sacca. Magga sacca is the ariya attangika magga, the Eightfold Noble Path. So the function of this Noble Path is to eliminate defilements. So if this Noble Path is occurring for the very first time, those 8 mental factors have the function, or their role is to eliminate sakkaya ditthi, vicikicca, silabbata, paramasa, those 3 fetters. So at that particular point, that individual is not really actively abstaining from wrong speech or wrong action or wrong livelihood. there the function is different. Those three virati are part of the Noble Eightfold Path. So as a path factor, their role is to eliminate defilements. So that is why this difference. Virati, so in summary, virati can occur in a sense sphere, kusala citta. So at that time, only one out of the three can occur depending on what the object is. So if the person is actively abstaining from wrong speech, then it will be samma vaca. If that person is actively, let's say a mosquito comes and bites an individual, he actively abstains from killing it. So that is samma kammanto. Then when it comes to livelihood, let's say a person gets an opportunity to maybe, okay, let's say a merchant, a rich person comes and, asks, okay, how much is this object? And now he knows, the merchant knows this man is rich. Maybe I can tell twice the price and sell my goods. But without doing that, he thinks, no, I will not do that. That is the wrong way of livelihood. I will tell the correct exact price. And even though this man is rich, I will sell it for the same price. So that is actively engaging in right livelihood. So in all of these three instances, you get only one of these three occurring, not all three together. Then when it comes to rūpāvacara and arūpāvacara jhāna, those citta themselves do not have the three virati, but the three virati form the foundation of virtue, sila. And it is a prerequisite to develop the jhāna. Then when it comes to the lokuttara citta, you need that foundation of sila. The three abstinences are the foundation of sila. And in addition, they also are part of the Noble Eightfold Path. So their role is different. It is to eradicate the defilements together. So the Eightfold Noble Path, the eight mental factors there arise together. All eight of them occur at the same time. Okay, so we have two questions on this virati. So one question is whether the sacca person still practice virati. Okay, now who is a sacca person? A sacca person is sotapatti magga phala, sakadagami magga phala, arahatta magga. So those 7 individuals fall under the category of sacca. Asacca is the arahanta phala, the individual who has completely eradicated all defilements and has become an arahant. So when it comes to the sacca individuals, they are still training. That is why they are called sacca. So training in what? They are still developing their mind. They are still practicing the path in order to eradicate all defilements. So yes, they still are practicing the virati because they haven't eradicated all defilements. They still generate akusala, but of course not to the degree that will result in rebirths in lower planes like the apayas. They won't be born in lower realms. So either a human plane or above, that is where they can be born again. But still they do generate akusala. So they still generate lobha cittas, but without ditti. So there's no ditti involved there. There's no wrong view. So they still generate ditti vippayutta lobha citta. They generate dosa citta, moha citta. So they, except for, of course, vicikicca, uddacha citta still occurs. So they still generate akusala. So because they are still not fully purified, they have to practice virati. They have to abstain from certain defilements. So the virati still occur. Now, the next question is asked again it's mentioned that the three viratis can arise when we prevent to do akusala when they have a chance. Yes, that is correct. So whenever an opportunity arises for an akusala to arise, then we will abstain from it. Because now let's say, for example, a mosquito is biting, I will actively abstain from killing it. So that is samma kammantu. There is no involvement of samma vacha or samma ajivo there. So depending on the situation, the relevant action will be there. So if someone asks me a question, let's say I have made some sort of mistake and someone asks me about it. Now I have the option of accepting my mistake or lying and covering it up. So I will actively think, no, it is wrong to lie. I will tell the truth. It's true that I have made a mistake and I will have to suffer the consequences, but I will tell the truth. That is samma vacha. At that time, there is no samma kammantu or samma ajivu. So depending on the situation, only one of the three viratis will arise, not all three together. So in summary, the sacca individual, he still has uneradicated defilements left. So he still has to continue purifying himself. So his sila is not complete. Therefore, the viratis, the abstinences will have to be actively generated by the sacca individual. Asacca individual, of course, there is no need for the virati to, there is no reason for abstaining because they have completely eradicated all defilements. Is that clear?
其实这个问题
The last part, Doctor. I mean the last part is the main question for me from me. The last part, there is three causes in mahakusala that can make virati arise. Number 3.
The question is not clear.
Number 3 part. First, prevent the when we have the chance to do akusala, and number 2, we reflecting sila, and number 3, when someone taking magga and phala, is it right for mahakusala virati, Doctor? From my work in the chat box.
Yeah, the third one is not clear to me.
The third one is, I mean that when someone has attained sotapanna,
yes,
and they still practice these three viratis, is included in this the cost from mahakusala. Because I have learned Abhidhamma class, they said that the number 3 is not included in mahakusala virati. It's included in lokuttara.
Do you mean to ask that the three virati don't arise with mahakusala? Is that what you're asking?
No, number 3, when we have attained magga and phala, and they said that it is not mahakusala practicing and including in the group lokuttara.
I'm still not clear what you mean by number 3. So if the first one, of course, when you have when you get the opportunity to do an akusala, you're preventing from it. Okay, that is clear. You generate virati at that point. Then when you're reflecting about your sila, and when you're reflecting about the sila, of course, then there is no abstinence there. You're just reflecting on your virtue. There is no abstinence at that point. Then the third one, actually, Brother JJ, are you clear about the third one here?
Maybe need to clarify with the question. The third case, is it referring to the time when there is magga phala arises, the magga phala is arising, or the time that for a sacca person in an outside of the magga phala that when he's trying to abstain from doing something kusala, is which part maybe you're referring to? Because my understanding is the questioner was saying that her understanding is for a sacca person, when they have this
Okay.
virati, it is also during mahakusala, but she read somewhere that this for a sacca person the virati is only during lokuttara. So I think maybe
Right. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you take the magga, the magga citta viti, the citta viti where one develops the magga citta. So first we start with the manodvārāvajjaṇa, then we get parikamma, upachara, anuloma, gotrabhu, and finally the magga citta appears. So the parikamma, anuloma, parikamma, upachara, anuloma, and gotrabhu. Those 4 cittas are jhāna sampayutta mahakusala cittas. And the object that these consciousness take is nibbāna during that magga citta viti. So when it's taking nibbāna as its object, at that particular point, it is not actively abstaining. That mahakusala citta is not actively abstaining from anything, right? So there, the virati will not occur. But when the magga citta appears, the virati will occur as part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Then, of course, you get all 8 path factors occurring together at the same time. But the preceding mahakusala citta, which are the jhāna sampayutta kusala cittas, it could be one of the 4. It's only one type that you occur, either an upeksha sahagata or a somanasa sagata kusala citta. So, but it is jhāna sampayutta. So one of them will arise, and you will get 4 of them arising, of belonging to one type. So that in that instance, there is no virati, there is no abstinence there. Is that what you meant? Right. In Mahakusala, we have 3 causes for the 3 viratis to arise. Yes. So there has to be a cause for a virati to arise. That is correct. So it is when an opportunity presents itself, when there is an opportunity to either speak a lie or speak the truth, that is the opportunity for us to abstain from wrong speech. Then similarly, so you have to have a cause, and depending on that cause, your abstinences will vary, but at one given time, only one can occur.
Maybe doctor, can I clarify in this way? For a sacca
Yes.
person, there
Yes.
are two situations that the viratis can appear. One is during the magga citta, when they will arise together as part of the Eightfold Noble Path. Another is for a sacca person in the daily life. It may also appear the situation where they need to refrain, abstain from wrong speech, abstain from wrong action or wrong livelihood. In that case, then it will arise in the mahakusala citta of a sacca person, and it will arise only one out of the 3. So for a sacca person, it can be either situation.
Yes, it's one of the 2 situations. Yes, that is correct. So I think the third one here is probably when we reflect on sila. So when we are reflecting on our own sila, there is no abstaining there. So it will be only two instances where a sacca person will be generating the virati, either as a mahakusala, where they are actively abstaining from something wrong, or in the magga citta that they have generated, or the phala citta. So a sotapanna individual will later on can go into phala samapatti. Then during the phala samapatti, the phala citta also will have all 8 factors occurring together. So that is another instance. But if you take the second one you mentioned, when reflecting on the sila, that is not an instance where these 3 will occur, because you're not actively abstaining from anything. You're reflecting on your sila. So that is, during that instance, you will not see virati occurring. Okay, let me add a little more to it. So there is one message in the chat which I missed. So here it is mentioned, I mean, when someone taking sila and have a chance to do akusala, then they don't do akusala. Is it included in virati? Now, let's say first thing in the morning we get up, we take our 5 precepts. We take our, we observe our sila in the morning. At that particular moment, we are taking a pledge that we will not engage in any of these 5 wrongdoings. But at that particular point, there is no abstinence as such. We are just taking that pledge. Then during the day, if we encounter a situation where we get the opportunity to do an akusala and we actively refrain from doing it, then only the virati will be arising. Not at the point that we are, observing our sila. We are taking the 5 precepts, because then the opportunity has not presented itself. But now, while we are worshipping, a mosquito comes and bites me, and then I actively refrain from killing it, then at that point, yes, the virati, samma kammanta, is arising at that point. So during the day, if a particular opportunity to do an akusala presents itself, and then we refrain from doing it, then the virati will occur. Again, only one at a time. So when we are worshipping and observing the precepts, if there is no opportunity to do an akusala, then there is no virati arising at that given point. Okay, a few more short questions. Why are we analyzing the tikas according to khanda, āyatana, dhātu, and ariya sacca, and not, for instance, according to objects? Why these 4? So we can actually analyze the tikas according to various categories. Now, if you take the next book that we will be learning, the vibhanga-pakarana, in that there are 18 separate chapters, and there we will be analyzing these tika apart from the khanda, āyatana, dhātu, ariya sacca, according to indriya, and then what else? Phala, jhāna, likewise appamanya. Likewise, there are different other categories that we will be analyzing the tikas according to. So there's no hard and fast rule. We can analyze the tika in any way, according to any of these, khanda, āyatana, dhātu, indriya, even according to objects. But we are mainly focusing on khanda, āyatana, dhātu, and ariya sacca here, because those 4 in particular are very important when it comes to vipassana, the practice, the practical aspect of the dhammā. So the whole idea is to somehow start seeing all these dhammas as mere elements, as mere khanda, āyatana, dhātu, ariya sacca. There is no being involved. There is no person involved. So the ability to see anything as a mere khanda or a mere āyatana, dhātu or ariya sacca, that ability we need to develop through vipassana. And during vipassana, this process is taking place. So that is why in the tikas, when we analyze, we are mainly focusing on khanda, āyatana, dhātu and ariya sacca to show that there is no such thing as an individual or an animal or a person or a being as such. So that to stress on that point, on that fact, that is why we are speaking in according to these four things. However, it doesn't mean that you have to restrict yourself to analyzing the tikas according to these dhammas. You can analyze them according to various other divisions. So that we will be learning in the vibhanga prakarana. And of course, the dhātu katha prakarana, again, we are speaking mainly about khanda, āyatana and dhātu. Yes, so there is no restriction. So for the purpose, for the help that this gives towards our practical aspect, the practice of vipassana, for that purpose, we are using mainly these four categories. Okay, another quick question. When is outside the scope named? I have the idea that sometimes we call outside the scope and sometimes not. Probably there is a logic in it. Can you share that with me? For instance, nibbāna is also outside the scope of the first two, parittā and mahaggatā dhammā, but not mentioned there. Okay, so when is outside the scope named? Now, if we are to categorize all of the ultimate realities according to the 5 aggregates, now we have everything here, including nibbāna. Then we are going to place nibbāna as outside the scope of the aggregates because nibbāna is not part of the 5 aggregates. However, when we take the parittā tika, let's take parittā dhammā. Parittā dhammā has only citta, cetasika and rūpa. Mahaggatā dhammā has citta, cetasika only. Appamānārammana dhammā has citta, cetasika and nibbāna. So if we are now, when we are asked to classify the parittā dhammā according to khanda, āyatana, dhātu and ariya sacca, under parittā dhammā we get only citta, cetasika and rūpa. So all of these are part of the 5 aggregates. There is no nibbāna here. So if they are not included under parittā dhammā, then there is no need or there is no need to mention as outside the scope because it is not there anyway. So what we are doing here is basically classifying the dhammā under a particular term according to the khanda, āyatana, dhātu and ariya sacca. So the parittā dhammā, when we classify, we get all 5 khanda. But there is no nibbāna here under parittā dhammā. So there is nothing outside the scope here. Again, same with mahaggatā dhammā. We get only citta, cetasika. So we get the 4 khandas. There's no nibbāna here. So there is nothing outside the scope. But when it comes to appamānā dhammā, we get citta, cetasika as well as nibbāna. Now, nibbāna has to be placed somewhere. We get the 4 khandas and nibbāna is not part of the khandas. So we mention it as outside the scope of the aggregates. And the last question, why are the sampaṭicchaṇa receiving cittas and paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa, the 5 sensitive adverting citta, mano dhatu, and manodvārāvajjaṇa, mind or adverting citta, not? Okay. So what is mano dhatu? That is the first thing we need to figure out. And when does it occur? The mano dhatu occurs only in the 5 sense, the the paṅcadvārika citta vidya. So the five sense door cognitive processes. That's the only instance when you get this manodvārātu occurring. And the manodvārātu is situated before the, now let's take the eye door process. So if it's the chakku viññāna, you get one manodvārātu occurring before it. That is the paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa citta. And soon after the chakku viññāna, you will get the sampaṭicchaṇa citta. And depending on whether it's a akusala vipaka or a kusala vipaka, one of the two sampaṭicchaṇa cittas will occur. So the two cittas that are on either side of that chakku viññāna citta is what is referred to as manodvārātu. So this occurs exclusively in the paṅcadvārika citta viti, the five sense door cognitive processes. But when it comes to the manodvārāvajjaṇa, now when does the manodvārāvajjaṇa citta occur? Manodvārāvajjaṇa occurs either in a paṅcadvārika citta viti, the five sense door cognitive process, as a vottapana citta. Or it can occur as the first active consciousness, active citta, in a manodvārika citta vidya, the mind door cognitive process. These consciousness are relatively more stronger than the manodvārātu. Manodvārātu doesn't do much of a action. You know, when a let's say some sort of image falls on the chakku prasada, then the bhavanga citta will vibrate, and then it will stop, it will arrest, and then we will get the paṅcadvārika citta, paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa citta, which will start looking from which sense door did was I disturbed, or did I get some sort of sensation from. So the paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa has the action of looking, kind of surveying from which sense door that the stimulus came in from. And then once the paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa citta figures out which sense door, then the relevant citta will arise. If it was a visible object, the chakku viññāna will arise. If it was a sound, the sota viññāna will arise. So this paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa citta is a relatively weak sort of mind. So that is why these three, the paṅcadvārāvajjaṇa and the two sampaṭicchaṇa, are those three cittas are grouped separately as the manodvārātu. So remember, the manodvārātu occurs exclusively in the paṅcadvārika citta viti, the five sense door cognitive processes, whereas the manodvārāvajjaṇa citta can occur in either of the two. In the paṅcadvārika citta viti, it occurs as vottapana citta, and in the mind door the manodvārika citta viti, the mind door cognitive process, it occurs as the starting point of that relevant cognitive process. So we come to the end of our talk, and the next lesson will be on the 2nd of February.
我们今天的课程呢就到这边今天是很长的一个课所以下一堂课呢会在2月2号。
It's time to share merits. I would like all of you to join me.
接下来老师邀请大家呢跟着老师一起呢做这个功德的回向。
Akasatta ca bhummatta deva naga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sāsanam chiran rakkantu desanam chiran rakkantu mamparam idam me nyātanam idam Imina
Ina punya kami
Kala samagamo satang
sama sama
ya
sama
nikana patiya
Imina
punya
kami punya asawa
sama
kaya
kaya
waha hontu
idam
punyang nikana
sama
sayo
saya
hontu
mama
mama punyang
badan sabar
magga
sabar
demi
desa bumi
mimi
punya
yang
badan
bakal
badan
maju
satu
Buddha sesalang jirang dhatu
kita
sesalang
Sasana tirang
dhatu
ditatu,
sesalang jirang
sasana
dhatu
tirang ditatu, jam sasana tirang
Sadu,
ditatu,
sadu, sadu.
sadu, sadu, sadu.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bagus, dokter.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very much,
Doctor.
doctor.